two dope dudes, bringing you the news, leading you to much success with all their insightful views. Do you grow yourself or buy from the top shelf? Are you here to take the reins and gain back your health? Whatever it is, you know the biz. Leave a like, crack a pipe, and let's get on with it. If you want to acquire the knowledge, you don't have to go to college. You can just come hang with Aaron and Dave.
Yo, and welcome to the Elevated News Podcast with Two Dope Dudes. We are your source for Midwest cannabis news culture and more. I am Aaron.
I'm Dave.
Hey, what's going on? We're the Two Dope Dudes.
Woo!
It's one of those Mondays for us, huh?
Woo!
Woo!
That's it,
Yeah.
dude.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I feel about some of this news lately. Honestly.
Yep.
Yeah, this is going to be a heavily. I think this is going to be a Illinois-focused episode. So, to our friends across the country, sorry, we got some Illinois news we got some home news to take care of today, and it's getting wild. Although
worth hearing though, no
worth
matter where
hearing.
you're at.
Worth hearing, and I did find some cool stuff that not everybody's talking about, and
Nice.
so I'm excited to talk about that, including a data center in Michigan that's purportedly trying to be sold to a data center.
Cultivation?
Yes, cultivation center.
Oh, getting sold to a data.
Well, they're trying to sell to a data center.
Well, see, the American dream is not to run the business, it's to sell the business and get the hell out of the way.
That's true.
And when mega corporations are willing to buy all of the businesses,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Well, other than that, how was your weekend? Let's do the normal stuff and not do like we did last week. Because last week we went right into My Bud Jon, which was within the first 5 minutes. I like it too, but within the first 5 minutes, it was Canna Talk, and so we got age restricted.
Dude,
I think that's what it was.
Oh,
So,
you know what? Let's talk about the fights last night then.
dude, we should talk about the fights last night, and yeah, that was crazy. I stayed up for I stayed up for all of them, and the last two fights, those were crazy upsets.
Can I tell you how many people kept trying to tell me, oh, Gaethje's gonna get his butt whooped. There's no chance. He's a huge underdog. He's got
No.
I said, did you see what he did to Patty Pimblett's face last time? He fought Patty Pimblett in January, and that dude's face swelled up like a balloon.
Well, no, Patty gets fat in between fights anyway, but still,
not like this.
No, I know.
Yeah, that was different. He looked swole as could be, like everywhere,
Well,
and then his face looked like a swollen balloon.
I mean, most people, when most lightweights, middleweights, or whatever, when you ask them, no, I guess it would be a lightweights, like who hits the hardest. Even Khabib said Justin Gaethje.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like almost all of them universally say Justin Gaethje. And like what he did is he survived the first round. He didn't allow Ilia Topuria to get that right hook on him, which is typically what Ilia Topuria uses to do that. So by not allowing him to get circled, he or feinted into that right hook, and he just jabbed the hell out of him. He just walked right into the jabs. The fact that he ate those liver shots and continued on, and I mean, that dude's going to be pissing blood for a week for sure.
Yeah. Oh, bro, he said it a couple of times too in his his fight speech. Like he was like, "Oh, he caught me in the gut a couple of times."
Oh no, yeah. I mean, there's a reason that body shots work. I mean, they're very, very effective. They take the wind right out of you. Like, you know, you don't want to continue with that. Oh, that knee. Oh, that's crazy. He's and then Topuria has got at least one orbital bone broken for sure. He's got a flat nose. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if his ribs are shattered.
Yeah.
That dude's screwed.
He
But I mean,
took
that's
a
what happens when you
beating.
take 17 months off.
Well, yeah.
True story. And the fact that Kanye won over Alex Pajeda
Oh,
was actually kind of, I was
but
surprised. And I'm
I
not a
called the
Pajeda fan
Cyril
either.
Gahn thing too. I realistic. My brother's like, oh my god, Chama, he's gonna. I'm like, dude, that dude is the first time he's fighting up in weight like this.
That's right.
It's
That's
not
right.
the same thing.
When was the last time Cyril Gahn was,
That's a bad mofo,
180?
dude.
Oh yeah, 180 pounds.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
the way
That dude
he
is a heavyweight.
was handling Tom Aspinall the last fight. Anyway, I do love. That was wild. The whole situation was wild. But can we give shout outs to the girl singing the songs, man? That was like the highlight of the night.
Yeah. Even the and the guy playing the guitar and singing as well was awesome. Yeah,
dude.
the whole president's Marine band was fantastic. I mean, they're amazing for a reason.
Dude, when they played that song from the beginning of Desperado.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Although, what's up with the Pirates theme? I didn't get that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy.
Well, Pirates take what they can get,
I guess.
DC, baby.
Maybe.
Not Daniel Cormier either.
Not Daniel Cormier either. Man, that
no.
guy's he seems like he's getting worse and worse.
He looks like a bowling ball with legs.
I mean, I'm just saying commentating. He sounds worse and worse. His choice of words
he struggles to get them out there sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, I do too, but I also haven't been punched in the face as much as that guy has, or dropped in the head. Like I've done competitions and stuff back in the day.
We also don't get paid as much as that dude does.
Absolutely not. So yeah.
Oh,
you do anything fun this weekend?
Disc golf. I used the app for the first time with disc golf.
How'd that go?
Amazing.
Yeah.
We were. I was done before they even started throwing Dollar Holler.
That's awesome.
Ready to go, baby. Let's go.
Man, that's gonna change some things. Now we just have to make it so other people can use it.
Yeah, that's
gonna be the hard part.
When we get done on here today, I'm gonna start doing a little bit of work and stuff. And I don't know that it. I mean, it might make sense for me to just leave it the way that it is in some regards, and just put an executive over, just an email for everybody.
Sure.
To use to get in. Yep, and just don't give it the same edit properties.
Sick.
Yeah. So
sounds fun.
Might work.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm sad that I missed disc golf yesterday. It was rainy, and I swore there was going to be no disc golf, but
it was close.
It was I should have texted you, but oh well, whatever. I worked out in the garden.
Wet.
Yeah.
And
yeah. That's okay. We lucked out with the flex last week. It was rainy all week, and then we had a beautiful day Friday.
So nice, yeah.
Yeah. No, and we did that one, and then we got to talk after this show about the September high school one too.
Oh yeah.
Did we talk? Oh yeah, we started talking about that too.
I've heard a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So that should be fun. But I guess it's been enough time, and we can actually get into our actual segments. That was actually just a little too much blah blah blah. And that's just
we're making up for last week.
Making up for last week. And
that's right.
If you can find the episode where that comment's from, I'll give you a free t-shirt.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Well, without any further ado, let's check out and also I hope you enjoyed John this week on our friend Dr. Danknugs. Tonight, when we're recording, this is Monday night. He is the co-host of the Dr. Danknug show.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. Appreciate all of our friends supporting each other, supporting dope people. But John this week did a review and a comparison of Mile High Melts, and this is by Key Lime Pie by Mile High Melts, and he did a comparison of their premium and their regular. So
Oh,
yes, without further
nice.
ado,
Have you ever wondered what to buy? Have you ever pondered if that will get you high? Well, don't just go in and guesstimate. Listen close, get you something great like a tender disco yell. My Bud Jon is here to help.
Welcome back to John's Reviews and Reports. Today, we got a double dose. We're doing a little bit of a comparison. It is Mile High Melts. It's the Too Much Limes. We're going to put the premium Too Much Limes up against, I guess, regular. I don't have a lot of descriptions on like the I Heart Jane as far as being able to deduce what premium means. Usually in rosin, that's usually like a 120 or a 90 IU press. First press, I would guess second press. But again, I Heart Jane didn't really give us a description to understand other than rosin is a concentrate made from cannabis. Okay, thanks for the heads up on some fun stuff. But anyway, getting into it, you open these up, and at first, just looking at it, honestly, you couldn't tell the difference. They both, honestly, look exactly the same when they are out of the package. You open them up, you smell them. There is a slight difference, but not much. You really gotta be looking for it in order to truly grasp. This one has a stronger lime scent to it. So I guess my first complaint on it, Illinois products have absolutely no branding on their containers. And I understand that because we require them to put them into a box or some sort of something to hold the container. And that's where all your branding is. That's where your descriptions are. And I get that. But when you have two very similar products and you keep them on your desk, if you're not careful, you will be confused. Which one is which? Thankfully, I kind of put a little marker on this one and I kind of knew. But anyway, getting into the actual product, they look the same. They smell the same. The premium, maybe if you give it a good gander, you could see a little bit more of a terp layer to it. But honestly, they looked identical. I would not have been able to tell the difference until I smoked it. That is where the premium truly shined. Not to say that the regular stuff wasn't good, because it was probably some of the best rosin I've had to date. And then you try the premium. And you're like, can it get better? How could it get better? This is already top tier, some of the best rosin I've smoked in either a really long time or it's just probably some of the best rosin I've smoked yet. So you move on to the premium. Could it get better? Could it be really premium when you already gave me a premium product? They delivered. The taste was amazing. You guys made amazing product here. These guys put up a great competition to any of the rosin manufacturers on the market right now. I've top tier pricey, yes, definitely a little pricier, but what you get in quality back from it, definitely well worth the money. I would recommend Mile High Melts any day of the week. I don't honestly think you could go wrong with their rosin at this point. I hope they stay as good as they have been so far. I think I'm going to do a quick break, take a dab off the Dr. Dabber, because they're just wonderful. Anyway, so good. Being an Illinois consumer, I didn't trust the words premium. I see a lot on packaging. It's just a word. I've seen premium written on some really trash product. These guys did not do that. Either one is a good buy. But if you got an extra few bucks, man, it's worth it. Honestly, buy both. Do the comparison. I had so much fun doing this one. Wow. This stuff was great. The amount I had to put on a dabber to get me going, to get me high, was a minuscule amount in comparison to what I would usually scoop up. At first, I was just like, I just want to taste it. And then it got me rocked. So I was very impressed. Didn't need the huge dabs. Just a little dab will do you with this one. It was amazing. Anyway, cheers, guys. Till next time, let's blaze.
Let's blaze.
How
That's
good.
awesome. Yeah. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
wonder if the difference is just what micron bags they're filtering those through. It's got to be, right?
I mean, I would
Same
just
product, just a little.
well, it's not even the micron bags. It's just first wash, second wash. I would assume, or first and second, third and fourth wash, probably. If I had to guess,
Yeah.
I would assume that the micron. I mean, sure, there's food grade at a certain point. There's, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I mean, that's. I'll tell you guys, to my friends out there who actually know me and know that I'm kind of an amateur rosin snob. John saying that actually means a lot to me. Like John saying that that's some of the best rosin he's ever had, or like that says a lot because John knows his products and not just Illinois. I'm a bud tender. Like John, and I know John from the farmers markets. John and I have, John's been around. He's sampled everything. So when he says that means a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think
High praise for
Yeah.
for Mile High. High praise for Mile High from John. And to me personally, like, shit, I'm gonna go try this stuff. I'm like actually gonna go buy some. If John says it's that good, I want to try it.
Yeah, I wonder the things that I wish we could talk about or that I wish I knew was what the price point difference was between the two and see what, and I'm sure we could find it with a quick search, but
Yeah, I'm about to.
yeah, sweet.
You just keep talking.
Yeah, because there's a certain point for me where refine it all the way to its most beautiful, purest form is fantastic. And it does something extra. Like John said, there's this little gap between the little one and the less premium and the more premium. But when the less premium one is some of the most premium you've ever had, how far can you go past that? I've always yeah, I don't know. I think also my side of things is too, uh, medicinally speaking, is there
Mhm.
a greater benefit from one towards the other, or is it just a mouth thing? And I think what we're dealing with is something like a brand new bottle of wine versus an aged bottle of wine. So there starts to become some kind of more refined notes or some cleaner something, depending on what you're looking for.
Sure.
But effectively,
I'm trying to find who has some and who has some that is the premium and whatnot. I guess I can just go look. I also texted John real quick and asked what the price difference was.
nice. I can't imagine it being a ton,
I'm sure he
but
got it at
the
work, so I'm just gonna do that. And
yeah, the prices on rosin in Illinois is still kind of astronomical. It's not.
astronomical.
It's crazy though, because this is I guess my whole point. If there is a premium where they're actually refining it through the tiniest of micron bags, you're filtering out the best of the best. You're just you've put every amount of attention into it. Well, you'll yield a little bit less. It's been more labor intensive. It's been more product intensive. So um there is a warranted difference between them, but you know,
It looks like $11 to be
yeah,
honest.
negligible. That's what I was thinking.
It looks like $11
Yeah,
is what it I'm seeing.
yeah.
Ish, like it's nothing. That's a dumb amount.
Because in the same way, okay, I've made hash through bubble bags before,
Sure.
and you never give away the best one, right? You keep the
I don't know.
best.
I gave you a couple grams of first wash.
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
No,
Like
but I know what you're saying. To
you
your
know what I
friends
mean?
for
Like
sure. Yeah. No,
it's either
yeah.
goes to your closest of friends, or
Sure.
you keep the whole thing for yourself, and then where it goes down the line,
Yeah.
even the last,
Yeah.
the worst of what's in there for some people is some of the best that they've ever had, right?
Yeah.
And there's so
Some of the food grade is actually like dabbable for people.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's a varying scale
for
of
sure.
use also, or what we know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's super awesome.
I'm into it.
Me
Another
too.
great review by John. I
Dude,
love I love that he was like, you know what? The only thing that's gonna make this thing better is if I just dab this shit right now, because it is that good. So
John's I
wha-
love that.
that was awesome.
Yeah, dude, and that was the Ghost 2 vaporizer. And if anybody again would like to uh, uh, get any of the Dr. Dabber products, you can go to drdabber.com and use code SDP for 10% off. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for brand new products, so you might have to wait a week or two or a couple weeks before you can get 10% off the Dr. Dabber Go. But I do love the Dr. Dabber Go, and I have me one right here, and it's
That thing
awesome.
did
It
rip.
rips. It rips. Yeah,
Bro,
everybody loves it.
I was sitting there, I ripped it, and then Biz started talking about his finger from the injury and shit. He's like, I was pulling bone out, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta leave here. I can't sit here in this conversation. I was cooked. But yeah,
that's good.
it was
Yeah.
good.
No, it
It
was
was
fun
nice.
times. That was a fun flex, and I'm glad we got to do it for the hometown guys, and we got the dates for the next ones, so that's good too.
Yeah.
Um, hey, do you want to do plugs, and then we'll get into YouTube comments? How about that?
Yeah. I
Let's do
like it.
plugs real quick. John just texted me $11. I had to go look it up. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, let's do plugs. So for plugs, you can find us, the Elevated News Podcast, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all your other favorite podcast and streaming apps, including iHeartRadio. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and the Amazon Music as well, I believe. Two Dope Dudes YouTube channel. Please give us a like, leave a review. This helps us reach more people. We appreciate all of our audio listeners, especially friends out in Colorado. GMP, Green Mountain Preservations, appreciate you. I know you are an audio listener, and I appreciate you listening every week. I just wanted to shout you out specifically because you're the man. Also, twitter.com at two dope dudes, supportdopepeople.com. And then our thanks to our sponsors, Dr. Dabber, SDP for 10% off. Build a Soil, you can use Support Dope People for percent off there. And then the Green Grow Nutrients, you can use code 2DopeDudes at checkout for percentage off there. All organic. Organic nutrients, things we believe in. We don't just do that willy-nilly. Dave.
Yeah. And
Sorry.
on Thursday nights, I'm still going live. If you'd like to come hang out and chat, I'll be there. Peace,
That's
love,
right.
and cope. 8
Yep.
p.m. Central Time.
Yep.
Let me help you take your health back in your own hands with this great plant.
That is the mission. Yeah, sorry. There's a few things I wanted to make sure I was remembering as I was saying them, and I wanted to get them out. So
I like
sorry
it.
for rambling a little bit there, but
Ramble on, dude.
trying to remember to do things. YouTube comments. Let's
Wow.
get into it. Wow. Yeah, I know. I hate that they work. I hate that those thumbnails work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let us continue on, Dave, with you reading the YouTube comments. Is that cool?
Oh, I'm into it. Minnesota Magic Man. I like that. In Michigan, a lot of growing facilities shut down due to the new tax. Yeah, yes. It is a very unfortunate truth. There are a lot of people that were impacted by that taxation. A lot of people already struggling to do the thing in the market the way that it's set up, and then they imposed a massive tax on people.
And we're going to talk about a little bit about that later too in one of our articles that a friend sent me.
Yeah, yep. Capital P 1200, one of my favorite comments that I've read so far. Only 100 million in 3 months. Poor government. Yeah, it's so crazy. Well, we didn't get enough. Well, you did bad math. You're dumb. All right, Capital P again. Sup, Aaron and Dave? Definitely could have said it. Couldn't have said it better, Dave. Well, I'm reading.
Dave, shout out to everyone for making this such a cool community, and thanks for the follow on Instagram, Dave. Much love, brother.
Whoa, yeah.
We were talking about the community and how cool the community is, and you were saying thanking me for introducing you and you feeling like you just get to be a part of the community. And that was the whole that was
it's really it, man. I mean that with my whole heart. I love just being a part of this thing and watching what's happening, hanging out with the most awesome people in the world.
Yeah, and shout out to Capital P, finished his chemo last week.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He's supposed to bug me this week because he can be around people, and we're going to smoke some joints.
Oh, congratulations, fam. That is so fucking cool. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to curse less, but when things really get me excited, that one is good. Congratulations, brother. Minnesota Organics Donuts. Yeah. and I'm ready. I'm ready. You and me both.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Minnesota Organics, usually Weldon in the shop, ready for us, commenting before the episode drops. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the comments. Y'all are the best.
Yeah.
Y'all are the best. This is the a 20 million Michigan grow facility is up for sale as a data center. Harbor Farms is pitching its purpose-built Kalamazoo cultivation facility to developers as an AI center, betting the building is worth more to the technology industry than it is to cannabis, according to Crane's Detroit Business. The roughly 33,000 square foot facility sits on a 4-acre site west of Interstate 94, built in 2020 as Michigan's adult use market was ramping up. The economics that justified it have since collapsed. Michigan flower now averages 50. Well, you know what? We don't like talking numbers on YouTube because YouTube
they
gets
don't
weird
like
about
it.
it. So we're not going to, but you can read that if you would like. Dragged down by a new 24% wholesale tax, chronic oversupply, I see what you did there, and basement consumer pricing, lots of that. Hundreds of licenses have been surrendered and dozens of operators have left the market. Both true and false. Michael Ward, CEO and founder of Harbor Farms, built a site with 14 grow rooms, each with its own HVAC and water system. I argue he did not build the site because I know who built the site. With an R50 thermal rating and Mitsubishi variable refrigerant flow systems holding temperatures within half a degree. We were Mitsubishi's flagship jump into cannabis, says Michael. We worked with them to build a different mousetrap. The secret there is that they have reheat. This is me, Aaron, talking. I know the secret. It's reheat. There is no shared air in this building. We are completely redundant. We knew if this industry were ever to go in a different direction, this building would have other purposes.
For those of us who are not up to par, what does a reheat do?
I will. So reheat is just. There was a picture of this. Let me see if I can find this. So reheat just instead of it reheats the air instead of dehumidification, and it's more efficient and it makes drying better as well. Hold on a second. Yeah,
fair. I do know that controlling the environment is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So you can either like air condition and then like dehumidify and humidify and like do that, or you can reheat the air that you're already using and then just cycle it. That's what they mean by there's no shared air, because let me see here. There was like a whole picture. Another article I was trying to find that has a picture of this that you can tell that it has reheat because if you know what it looks like on the outside of the building. But anyway,
I wonder if it kind of plays the same way as my freeze dryer, because at the end of the cycle of a freeze dry system, they bring the temperature back up to like right around like 90 degrees, depending on what you're using, but it keeps it there because it avoids moisture from getting back in.
So it's okay. So here I was trying to see if there was like an image I could show, but the AI overview is probably more simple. So basically, it's where the air is intentionally overcooled to remove humidity, then heated back up to a comfortable temperature.
That is literally exactly what a fucking freeze dryer does. It literally freezes it, pulls vacuum, and it keeps it at a certain temperature to prevent humidity. How?
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, and it is a lot of people will just hang like Quest dehumidifiers in their grow rooms. But if you do reheat, and then a lot of these, if you follow like Cannabis Mechanical on Instagram, he does a lot of this stuff. That's how I know about it. So you'll see the HVAC ducting, and it'll have a bunch of holes in it, and that's the air blown back.
Okay.
And it's just one big loop. I'm not
So
super
wait,
smart about HVAC. Ask B Lane about it. B Lane
yeah,
will
that might be.
probably, yeah, he'd be like, "What the hell you want to know about reheat for?"
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, it makes sense to
Yeah.
me only in the what I've used for freeze drying, but where it doesn't make sense to me is that they're calling it. Well, I mean, I guess it's like the first people to use it, but they're calling it some breakthrough or something. But
Well, of
if
course,
it's
you always tout it as some breakthrough thing.
yeah, if you're freezing it and removing the humidity altogether, then do you end up with a crispy ass product at the end because it has
No,
been removed of
no,
all
no, no, no,
moisture,
no, no,
or
no,
it
no,
just
no, no.
traps what you have in
No,
it?
it just allows you to maintain precise humidity. It allows you to maintain precise humidity. So for curing, you can maintain rooms at a very precise humidity and temperature
Okay.
efficiently. Efficiently is the important thing,
Okay.
because you're already using the units that you're already using, and you're already using that air. And so instead of conditioning the air, you're just overheating it. It's like it's a whole thing. And if you
Okay.
understand, like,
Yeah.
I was not
Qu-
an HVAC guy. I just kind of know because of cannabis stuff.
Yeah. Fair.
There was actually here's some of the interesting thing in here. It says direction it went favored volume over quality. High cost premium producers lost ground to growers churning out the most product at the lowest price, and the market now carries far more cannabis than it can sell. State data shows immature plants jumping from 366,440 to 1.18 million in a single month between late March and the end of April. Roughly 1.9 million pounds of fresh frozen flower from last October's harvest still sits with processors and growers, up about 600,000 pounds from a year earlier. Yeah, that's why I wanted to read this.
Oh,
Dave,
oh my
Dave,
God. Oh, I've been talking about this aspect of it for so long.
I know.
And thank God it's a recycling system. But this is where I think everybody wants the cannabis industry to be something so bad, but I think it only has a certain potential. And I think that, don't get me wrong, is there plenty of room for people to expand into it and to grow into it? I think so. But
Uh,
with the way that we run shit in America, where it is what I said at the beginning of this episode, the American dream is not to own and operate a business, it's to sell the business off.
mhm.
Eh, This is an industry that will get completely monopolized. And I'm not talking about the major MSOs that we all get, oh, yeah, Cresco and Fairlife and or whatever whoever were Verano. Okay. But what happens when Verano sells to somebody and True Leaf sells to somebody and Cure Leaf sells to somebody? Because all of those companies' main objective, in the same way I just said it, is to sell off
Mhm.
so that they gain the profit from it and somebody
Yep.
else uses it. But what happens when no
Now
corporation that's
the
bigger
government's
than them?
involved.
Well, it's one of the most regulated spaces to be in to begin with. Who the
Mhm.
wants to deal with all of that? Why not
Mhm.
just get into data centers? No,
Yep.
anyway, but you can. It doesn't make sense for this industry to expand into something.
Yep.
I think that it's hit its pinnacle and peak. The only expansion left is into the 11 or 12 states that don't have the shit already in place, at least a medical program.
Sure.
That is the rest of where the industry goes. I do say it a lot, and I love that you bring it up. The next generation of smokers is today, right?
Yep.
Somebody just turned 21.
Yep.
Okay. Somebody just got their first medical license.
Yep.
But at the rate that is happening, it'll take infinity amount of years before anything ever gets to a place where like this industry grows. I think it's a stagnating number because the same equal amount of people who are entering the industry, we have an equal amount of people leaving the industry, people with medical cards. Granted, there's plenty of people that'll be just fine, but a lot of people who have medical cards they're like doing palliative care with this shit. They're
Mhm.
going towards the end of things.
Yeah.
So we're losing that market. That market's already been dwindling to begin with. And if everybody's being introduced to adult use, I just see this like a new craft beer, right? It got real, oh, it's the hot thing. And then it's just going to dwindle off.
Yeah.
And, any of the craft grower or craft beer producers who were okay sold into bigger corporations and shit. And then they just got absorbed by. So now it's like, if this is what the path is for cannabis, and
Mhm.
I say if it is, we pretty much can predict that it is
Yep.
by all of the regulations that are coming out. I can't wait to talk about what Illinois just signed into effect
Yep.
because that plays into what I'm talking about. Also, everything is gearing for fewer owners
Mhm.
and I think what happens too, so we're in a place of overproduction. We got 1.9 million pounds of something sitting around waiting to be processed, and 1.1 more million premature plants. Like, holy cow, can this stack up to a place where
Right.
eventually, you know, what do you have?
Yeah.
I mean, we can say on our balance sheets, we have this product ready to go. But if it never sells, what product do you actually have? And if we're misrepresenting it and we're misgrowing, it just leaves for a bigger problems down the road. Anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting ugh.
Friends over at Illinois News Joint released April and May medical cannabis sales totals. IDPH today released April and May medical cannabis sales totals. The monthly totals match those from the first 3 months of the year at around 13.4 million. I miss the days when Illinois News Joint was a little bit snarkier.
Yeah,
And they called it out a little bit more. Now they're like, yeah.
we'll take the ad revenue.
Yeah. Hey, they deserve it. They deserve it.
No, 1,000%. I want, yeah,
not
yeah.
even talking shit.
No, I listen. Play the game,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I think at some point that's what you got to do.
Yeah, retail sales of medical cannabis for April reached 13.4 million, including 6.6 million in dry flower sales and 6.8 million in concentrates, infused products. Licensed medical cannabis dispensaries served 50,000-ish unique patients who purchased 1.5 million grams of dry cannabis, blah, blah, blah. Retail sales of medical cannabis for May reached 13.57 mil. Yeah, about the same.
Yeah, I see. So I look at that and like to the industry, to the multi-billion-dollar industry,
Yeah,
those numbers are weak and minuscule and unexciting and whatever.
yeah,
But to you and me, or to people who actually have any care for that avenue of consumption, which is
sure.
medical,
Yeah,
for us to own businesses, because I think there's a greater problem in some of this too. Like, we aren't allowed to own the damn business. But if you distributed $13 million worth of sales amongst a bunch of us, regular, non corporate, non monster, multi state, whatever,
mm-hmm.
a bunch of us could open dispensaries throughout the state,
Yep.
run a medical facility only, be the front line of this movement, and we could take the burden off of these mega corporations, because
Right.
honestly it is more of
They don't want to carry that stuff anyway.
it's it,
I would rather it be the drugstore, the like when you think of like I'm talking like 1930s, 40s, 50s drugstore, like small town, like not not necessarily doctor, but pharmacist. Like I'd rather only those places carry medical products and not have them into like rec stuff,
Yeah, well,
like you
e-
you could actually you could have people run small again, you could have people run small businesses, you could have local people cultivate, do all the same testing and stuff, and then it just be an actual medical product.
well, and you hear, I'll say it a million more times. The difference between medical and recreational is nil to begin with. It's the
Sure,
way that we represent it and the way that we
sure,
tax it. But
but like it's also how you use it. What are you using it
oh,
for?
I like the idea, even like Amsterdam has with the little coffee shops and
Yeah,
shit, where you can genuinely walk
yeah,
in to a coffee shop, grab some coffee, sit around, and smoke a joint with your friends.
yeah,
I am okay with the idea that not everybody also likes cannabis, that and some might just like coffee. So, you know, is there a space there where it's like, I mean, if you're just a coffee consumer, go to fucking Starbucks then. I'm sorry, I got excited and I cursed. You heard me. I was just playing out scenarios in my brain of like, how cool would it be for us average folks to be able to own and operate cannabis
yeah.
distribution?
Hey, let's talk about this one real quick. And because I want to get to our big story, because we got a lot to talk about there, and I want to give it enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this one, cocaine money launderers Illinois cannabis license go up in smoke. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because you and I have long said that 2026 is the a year of powered by and management groups. Yes. And so this is part of the Ivy Hall management group, more than 10 license story. So, and then this is part of the omnibus as well. Convicted cocaine cash launderer David Berger no longer holds an Illinois cannabis license, signaling that he's cut ties with the Ivy Hall marijuana dispensary chain he helped launch. Also, Ivy Hall, made up of former police, correct?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's former
Could
police.
be. Everybody's a lawyer, a judge, a
Sure.
police. It's
Yep.
everybody who convicted
Yep.
everybody
Yep.
for using
Yep.
this in the
Yep.
past is
Yep.
now profiting
Yep.
on the other end. Yes.
100%. Yep. Uh, so he co-founded Ivy Hall, was found guilty late last year in federal court of laundering hundreds of thousands of dollars in drug proceeds by converting cocaine money into private jets for a trafficker. He'll be set to sentence July 1st. 20 years when we legalize recreational cocaine. He'll probably be one of the first who's be able to open up a store because he was convicted of that. Watch.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Well,
Despite the guilty verdict, Berger remained licensed for months as a registered adult use principal officer, a designation reserved for top cannabis executive owners and key decision makers, the Chicago Sun-Times reported in March. His license was terminated on May 11th, but that move wasn't the result of the disciplinary action. IDFPR says they couldn't schedule a disciplinary hearing over Berger's conviction until he's sentenced. Explaining the termination, they say when an owner leaves a company for any reason, quitting or being removed, they're required by law to file paperwork with the agency declaring that they are leaving. IDFPR then moves the license from active to terminated as they've terminated the relationship with the dispensary. So the reason this is interesting is because this is part of the SB 222 omnibus bill that they included some provisions for things like this, for the state to actually discipline and recall people's licenses. But it also says here that this person is still a registered agent at 8 of the company's 10 dispensaries and the manager of 4 locations. TC Investment Fox Lake LLC was the license holder that opened Smokehouse Fox Lake, a waterfront dispensary in that suburb, in 2024. In December, TC Investment Fox Lake filed paperwork with the Secretary of State saying it intended to do business under the name of Ivy Hall Fox Lake. Timothy Sherwin, who's listed as the manager of the company, referred questions to Berger. He says Berger is one of the main guys at Smokehouse. Yeah, so it's, I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it seems like.
Um,
So it says TC Investment Fox Lake renaming has drawn scrutiny because Illinois law caps cannabis owners at 10 dispensaries. Some industry observers have questioned whether the Fox Lake store could in effect become an 11th Ivy Hall location. State regulators say no such change has been approved. The IDFPR spokesperson says the agency hasn't authorized the Fox Lake dispensary to operate under the Ivy Hall name, and that business filings with the Secretary of State aren't the same as a state cannabis business license. So what do you think here, Dave? Because here it says the agency says it pushed for language in a bill J.B. Pritzker signed Friday that's designed to crack down on undisclosed ownership interests and clarify the difference between management agreements and ownership stakes.
yeah, when when we start
Also-
talking about that more, I'll rant more on it. But that is every one of these regulations
Mm-hmm.
is an interpretation of words,
Sure.
and all of these people who are being regulated are people who are word interpreters, lawyers, judges.
Sure.
These are the people. So they're taking the word
Mm-hmm.
at its distinct what it means, and or
Yeah.
graying up the area around it and going,
They're-
well, what about this? Like,
Yep.
and they're doing it, and without explicit, direct ABC. It's hard to enforce it, and even then, like, you will hear me say it a million more times also. I hate the enforcement around a
Yeah.
lot of this shit.
Yep.
So the regulation is what the regulation is. These people are going to keep skirt tailing the regulations
Yep.
to the best of their abilities, no matter what.
Hey, so here's our big story. Illinois Governor Pritzker signs major cannabis and hemp reform package. And for this, I'm going to use the Cole Memo from thecolememo.com. I am a supporting member of Cole at his Patreon of just $3 a month, which is nothing to help this young gentleman report on cannabis news. Because
And he
out
does
there.
a damn good job.
Yeah, he does a damn good job of it. And this stuff does cost money. Hosting costs money. Recording costs money. He actually goes out and files FOIA requests and stuff like that. Those definitely cost money. So if you can, thecolememo.com, go give the man a couple bucks. If you like, support dope people. That's how it works. So I'm going to use thecolememo.com. He did a great breakdown, is my point. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ramble about the Cole memo. He did a great breakdown, so we're going to use this. He's got some key changes here. So the legislation passed the House 7731 and the Senate 4710 during the final days of the spring legislative session. It was sent to the governor, J.B. Pritzker, on June 10th. The legislation makes a wide range of changes affecting cannabis consumers, medical patients, licensed businesses, and hemp products sold throughout the state. Yeah, I would say that this is a hemp bill, this is a social equity bill, this is a tax bill, and a criminal record clearing bill, all rolled into one. Of course, it being Illinois, we can't actually do things legislatively as they're supposed to be. This had to be a gut and replace bill, so we didn't have to do all the readings, and they could just put in whatever they want, and nobody could object to anything, because that's what Illinois has to do. But hey, we're the most socially equitable market in the whole world.
Can I just make a great
Sure.
I can't stop looking at this picture here, and just
Which one? This one right here. He's like,
it looks like
"That's
he's
an-"
like all excited, like he's got like a cookie, and the hand to the right side is like, put that cookie down. The other one's, it's like the mom, like, give me that
He's like,
cookie.
but
The other
this
one's like,
one is for
yeah.
my mouth.
But I love cookies. Look at his little face. He's got that little chubby cheeks and shit. Oh,
He's like-
Pritzker.
That's funny.
Oh.
So here are the key changes here. The law includes a wide range of changes affecting cannabis consumers, medical patients, licensed businesses, and hemp products sold throughout the state. It creates the Illinois Hemp Act and establishes a regulatory framework for hemp products. Allows adult use dispensaries to register as medical cannabis dispensaries. That will be after 90 days. After 90 days, you will be able to apply to be a medical dispensary. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, at least this time it's free and they're not mandatorily charging every dispensary. What was it, like $25,000 or something?
I don't remember.
I think that's how it was a couple years ago. That's what they were trying to do. Here is the big thing. It increases cannabis possession limits for Illinois residents and non-residents.
That's awesome.
Up to 60 grams of cannabis flower, 10 grams of cannabis concentrate, and 1,000 milligrams of cannabis infused products. Registered medical cannabis patients may continue to possess up to their authorized medical allotment from dispensaries. Cannabis produced from legally cultivated homegrown plants is not subject to a possession limit, though any amount exceeding 60 grams must be secured within the residence. Thank you, Cole, for double checking on that for me.
Yep.
I mean, not just for me, but I appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's exactly it.
Non-residents, up to 30 grams of cannabis flowers, 5 grams of cannabis concentrate, and 500 milligrams of cannabis infused products. Congrats, out-of-staters. You can now have our old possession limits.
Hey,
Also,
show up at the right time. We'll give it to you one day before it expires.
Yeah. Hey, pennies. Who wants penny joints? Not me.
I want a throat ache too.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Well, never mind. I'm not going to say that. I was going to talk about AICs. But then I was like, love you guys. Raises the threshold for certain minor possession offenses from 30 grams to 60 grams, expanding eligibility for automatic expungement.
Awesome.
Also great. If cannabis is, I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. If cannabis is legal, why do we have possession limits?
Yeah.
Allows dispensary drive-thru and curbside pickup. Permits dispensaries to remain open until 2 a.m. I bet we won't see very many of them open until 2. And I
think it's a bad idea. I think even
maybe
in the city,
it's still going to be
jam,
it's still going to be up to the municipality as far as how long businesses can be open for.
100%.
Same with drive-thrus and curbside pickup. Well, curbside pickup probably not, but drive-thrus, yes.
Nothing good happens.
I do have something to say about drive-thru though, and I don't know if Cole has actually reported on this, and I think Cole will be excited about this too, because one of the things, because I've been reading through this, one of the things that SB 322 did with the drive-thrus is they removed the fact that cannabis has to be inaccessible.
Oh,
it still has to be
really?
in the original packaging. It's still so as far as like odor proof. So let me here.
Yeah, because then you would have to get
found
out
this-
of your car and put it into a trunk.
Correct.
Whoa.
Let me, because I wrote this down. I have this in my notes here. Hold on. Let me see here, because I was looking at seed stuff too. Okay. So, here we are. So here's the old rule. The Illinois Vehicle Code 625. Here, let me pull this right here. Says, so I'm looking here. Illinois Vehicle Code 625 ILCS 511-502-15 says a driver or passenger may not possess cannabis in a vehicle unless it is in a secured, sealed or resealable, odor-proof, child-resistant container and inaccessible to the occupants of the vehicle. Inaccessible generally meant trunk, locked compartment, or somewhere not reachable from the passenger. The SB 3222 change, the bill adds a new subsection to the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act. Notwithstanding section is 11-502.1 and 11-502.15 of the Illinois Vehicle Code. The requirement that cannabis be inaccessible shall not apply to adult use cannabis or medical cannabis lawfully purchased from a licensed dispensing organization if the cannabis is transported in a secured, sealed, odor-proof, child-resistant cannabis container that is in its original packaging. So
so you have to
before it had to be
but
sealed, odor-proof, child-resistant, inaccessible. So it's still got to be sealed, it's still got to be odor-proof, it's still got to be child-resistant, and it's got to be in the original
have to throw it
dispensary
in a
packaging.
different
but it
bag.
does not have to be inaccessible.
No, but if you have to odor-proof it, it means you have to put it into something else
We
that is
no, we
not.
know that there is no such thing as odor-proof. That
No,
this is
I
something
understand.
right.
Well, and that's
This
my
is
whole
what we
point.
have
that-
people like
yes.
Cole. Yeah, we've argued there's no such thing as odor-proof. Cole went to Springfield, went to a dispensary, bought a package of pre-rolled joints, and then went into Springfield, into the Capitol, with his sealed odor-proof package.
Oh, nice.
And you could smell. This is a story. Please, Cole. I'm sure there's clips of this, him telling the story, because he's told it multiple times. It's a great story. But like, one of the lawmakers was like, "You did that on purpose, didn't you?" And Cole's like, "Yeah, of course. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely." Like, but that was the point. Is like, there's no such thing as odor-proof.
Yeah, well, and that's my whole problem
Yeah.
with all of this again, is that in the regulations, it
Sure.
sounds all fine and dandy, but when it comes to enforcement, there's an overlap there that leaves for the same way that the business owners who were lawyers and judges and whatever who are interpreting the law to benefit their businesses, so too then
I
are
mean,
the enforcement people interpreting the law
sure.
to benefit their business, which their business is enforcement. And that makes this a very weird exchange because
Sure.
like you said, there's no such thing as odor proof, but now we've allowed for
Well,
the
I mean,
odor to enter our car through our fucking driver's side window. There, I cursed again. That means I'm mad about it.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Authorizes telehealth. Well, I would say that is probably the most consumer friendly thing Illinois has done to date for cannabis.
Yeah, it's neat.
Here's what else it does. It authorizes telehealth appointments for medical cannabis certifications.
Very sweet.
Increases allowable flowering canopy space for craft growers. I believe it triples it automatically.
Just went to the 15,000 or
14,000,
14,000
yeah.
immediately.
Creates licensed cannabis transfer facilities. We knew that was going to happen. They had to. And yes, needed, but also because Illinois created its own problem.
Yeah.
Provides fee waivers and reductions for qualifying smaller cannabis businesses. Updates ownership, investment, disclosure requirements.
Oh, this is the...
And see, here we go. This provision received renewed attention Friday morning following a Chicago Sun-Times report examining convicted cocaine money launderer David Berger ties to Illinois cannabis businesses. The report was published hours before J.B. Pritzker signing of the legislation. There you go. It also reduces certain video surveillance, retention, and storage requirements. Removes some third-party security contract mandates. So now I believe you can have in-company security. So you no longer have to hire outside security. Some people were reporting that they were paying like $118,000 a year for security.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jesus. And your employees make $17 an hour.
Yeah, if they're lucky.
If they're lucky.
Extends Illinois' community college cannabis training programs through 2031 and removes the word pilot from the program's title. Creates enforcement mechanisms targeting anti-competitive practices within the cannabis industry. But wait, how did we get Okay. I mean, so now now we've created a market where it's anti-competitive, and now we're going to say, nope, you can't do what we've allowed you to do. Okay. Uh, cool. Establishes a social equity experience lottery for infuser licenses for hemp. Yes. Allows adult use dispensaries to apply for relocation. That's probably pretty big, especially now that you can just apply to be medical as well. Expands transporting organization operating hours. Makes various technical and administrative changes to Illinois cannabis law. If you go on the colmemo.com, omnibus signed. He also has a press release. The following press release was issued by Governor J.B. Pritzker's office. Here is a press release from Bob Morgan saying that, this is great, and we're doing everything so good, even though we can't actually, do anything within the actual legislature. We have to, gut all the bills and just do this so we don't have to have rules or readings, because otherwise we'd not get anything done because nobody can agree on anything. Well, Illinois is I don't know. Illinois, to me, it's they're not progressives. They're Democrats. They're corporate Democrats. And I wish people would just open their eyes to it and say, "Hey, this sucks too." And let's get something better. And I'm not saying Republicans are better. I'm just saying this ain't good either, because all this does is just write more enforcement and write more taxes, and we'll see what actually happens.
And they told me if I was a good boy and stood in between these two flags and said a good
Yeah.
speech, that they'd give me more cookies.
Yeah. Well, he looks like he's eating less cookies.
What?
Yeah. So
I'm
what do you
not
think?
getting that. I'm not seeing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's a fan of cookies there. I am
Oh, yeah.
too. I'm not
yeah.
hating on cookies. I would share one with
I mean, I'd give
He
him a
would probably
cookie.
take it from
I'd
me,
eat a
though.
cookie with him. I just want him to smoke weed with me. Smoke weed with me first.
He would write a law that I can't have any more cookies because he's
Maybe.
going to eat them all.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about this, Dave?
There's some very good things that have come out of it. There are some very not great things that have come out of it. It is just like most new sets of regulations. They pat themselves on the back. The the lawyers and the judges and the enforcement officers who now are owners are scrambling, trying to figure out what the next best path for them is. But it's all in the interest of business, and none of it is necessarily there's some that's in the interest of the consumer, and the ones that are is like that expansion law of possession. That's huge for everybody. That means that we are more free to be in possession of these things, kind of. It does protect us a little bit more, but same old situation. Just this is everything that we've been thinking was going to change for a long time, and they finally have scribbled it in at the last hour, and now it will take a little bit of time to unfold. But I do think for a lot of people there are some benefits in here, though. I
think
all the way around.
I think for the most part there are, and it is mostly good. I'm more upset about how the way Illinois went about it. I wish we could be a productive state and actually talk about things and get things done in a way that was good for everybody in the state, and not just for the problems that the state has made for themselves. And that's the thing that really kind of pisses me off about it, and that's the thing that makes me not believe in the government here, because they can't get anything done. We have to gut and replace and do shell bills and make it harder for people to complain or sue, or it's just
Well,
bullshit.
Yeah, it's I'll stand on one side of the aisle, you stand on the other
It's-
side of the aisle, but then when we go back into the hallway, we all shake hands and eat together.
It's a real nanny state, by every definition. It's a true nanny state where it's about, they think that they know better than everybody else. And
But well,
and it's a small club, and you ain't in it. And everybody else needs to listen to what the fuck they have to say, because everybody else is too stupid. That's really what it is that they think that you're too stupid, that you need so many laws to tell you what to do because everybody's so stupid. That's
well,
what it is.
seatbelt laws are the most direct thing in the world. Like, if you don't wear a seatbelt, I may kidnap you to the side of the road by level of enforcement and make you pay a fine
Yeah,
to me
and not
because
wearing
I
a
watched you do something that I think that you're too dumb to know whether
and
if you
not
put
wearing
it
a
on or
seatbelt
don't put
is
it on that
stupid.
you know it's
It is
listen, whatever.
stupid.
I worked with a tow truck company, and I have heard some unbelievably horrific stories in both directions, right? Whether you use it or whether you don't use it, accidents are very unfortunate
Mhm.
things that happen, and that restraint across you is both beneficial at times and
Sure,
harmful at times. So, for you to tell me that you know better
sure.
and at the level of I am going to literally stop you from what you're doing. I'm going to kidnap you to the
Yeah,
side of the road and hold you there again with only one possibility, which is with at least one possibility of I'm fining you no matter what, but two, with the possibility of you smelling my unsmell proofed what I just took legally through my window and hurry up and put it into my smell proof bag and zipped it up and did the thing and I threw it in the back seat, and you don't know the law, so now you get to kidnap me, pull me out of the car even further, restrain me in metal shackles,
yeah,
search through all of my belongings. Whoa, babe, we're still in a place of like this is weird
yep.
ish. And so when it comes to, I think, again, I listened to that Diary of a CEO. There's some governance that at some point is, I guess, okay, and like I'm acceptant of something, but like at the other end of it, the way that we've extremified it and made it very
Some form of governance would be okay, but that's not what we have.
no, and it's
It's
I
way
think coming up
over
with the
that.
perfect
Yeah,
scheme, and totally different podcast for a totally different
sure.
time, but I think coming up with the perfect scheme is way tougher than any one of us would ever give credit to. But it's also the ways that we do it that seem very archaic and barbaric and clearly not in the favor of the people who live there. It's more for the people who do business there.
Yeah,
And because they're allowing less and less of us to do business anywhere, it is more terrifying.
yep,
It sucks. It's a mega corporation who gets away with everything.
yep,
And for that, I mean, I just try to stay a good little boy and stay under my 60
yeah.
grams of possession and whatever. We're okay.
All right.
We're okay.
Hey, Dave. Dave's Conditional Cannabis Corner. It's just about that time. You ready to get going?
Let's rock.
You got some symptoms from your condition to help you feel better. That is my mission. At the Conditional Cannabis Corner, you can get that information, and it won't even cost you a quarter.
All right, my friends, welcome to another Conditional Cannabis Corner. I appreciate you listening to this episode. It has been a little bit longer, but there's been a lot of good convo for me at least. And this one is one that is very near and dear to my heart. It is the reason that I consume cannabis, and I believe it is a reason that more people consume cannabis than any other factor. They do still say that it is pain in a medical setting, but I believe that anxiety relief is the number one, or psychological benefit is the number one reason for the use of cannabis. And anxiety is the one that I think more of us deal with than not. Anxiety is, at least to my interpretation, is an overthinking, a fast, repetitive overthinking of stuff that is going on outside of the room or outside of your reach, where you can physically reach. You're thinking about things that are outside of that more than you're thinking about what is within your reach. And cannabis has benefited me by putting me into a place where I realize that all I can do is affect the things that I can physically touch immediately. Can I try to be more beneficial outside of that? Fine, but it's grounding, it's centering, okay? When we are thinking of stuff that's going on outside of the bills at home, we got to cook dinner later, we got to take the trash out, the dog has to be fed, but you're out having fun for the evening, it leaves for this space where your brain is trying to do more than it can. And I think that a lot of times, and I think that cannabis is very beneficial by that kind of sedation that comes from a lot of the cannabis that's out there. It's a slowing of all of that real quick wheel working that's going on. Some of the things that are massively beneficial to the slowing, or this is why indica and sativa kind of make sense. Linalool is the number one. If you're terpene hunting for anxiety relief, linalool, because it's not as sedative, right? But it's a little bit more calming. It's a little more relaxing. So linalool, heavily found in indicas, the more relaxing sedative thing. If you can find some linalool, it will help reduce your anxiety. Now, we don't just consume linalool by itself. We don't go get linalool gummies. So, what cannabinoids will help benefit that? If you can find CBD, CBD is the best. There's no doubt in my mind that if you give CBD a fair shake and you are somebody who is anxious, that you will get some benefit from this thing. Is it going to stop everything? Maybe not, but it gives a very nice baseline of comfort where we're not at one end or the other. We've become homeostatic. We've become very flat and just I don't react as fast. I'm a little bit less racy. CBD, period. But also, low dose THC can be very massively beneficial in its natural sedative properties and very low dose. See, for a lot of us or probably a lot of you who are listening currently, you're somebody who consumes cannabis with regularity. So we don't think about what somebody else who doesn't, or all of the people who aren't or who are more scared of it, who have had a anxious or a paranoid experience with it, they don't want THC at all. I don't want intoxication. I don't want, well, it's because they overdid something. With very, very low dose THC, especially through something of an inhalable, because of how it delivers to the system, we can get some effects that are very comforting, especially to anxiety, quickly. Problem with that is, if you overdo it, you can increase your level of anxiety, paranoia, all of that by very quickly as well. But it's by knowing what this thing does to you and by using the proper delivery systems. Like, I wouldn't recommend people who are anxious to go start eating cannabis gummies or edibles at all. They're just way too long to set in. CBD edibles, perfectly fine. Heavy, very heavy CBD edibles, very fine. Very low dose THC with CBD, perfectly fine as well. But I think inhalation for the breakthrough aspects of my mind is racing now, let me feel some comfort now, um, and very low dose THC. So there's just a few different things. Low dose THC, high CBD, linalool is great. myrcene can be good, but it can be very sedative. And sometimes I'm just looking to turn some of the wheels down, but stay focused enough to do whatever else I'm doing. You know, if I'm sitting at work and I've got all the stuff going on outside of work, and I can't pay attention to my work there, I don't need myrcene to put me to sleep at work, right? So it's knowing what terpenes can kind of soothe you a little bit, knowing what cannabinoids are going to be beneficial and not harmful. And, I think the harmful things, stay away from maybe THCV, maybe CBDV. I don't know that those are the best for, maybe a CBG and a CBC might help you in some spaces too. If you can't sleep well, CBN may be beneficial because that helps kind of dealing with the mental side of things. But low and slow. And if you are somebody who deals with anxiety, and you're not seeing that benefit from it, especially the people listening here now, consider using CBD with more abundance. I promise you, you will feel far greater. And that's it. I appreciate y'all. Thanks again.
Don't get all anxious when you smoke weed. Stay away.
Dude.
Stay away from the myrcene. I know a lot of people who say that's why they don't consume cannabis anymore.
It's because they get anxious.
Yeah, because they get anxious.
Paranoid.
Yeah.
Well, and like even then, I like limonene, right? Is more of the uplifting,
Sure.
energetic, euphoric. It does have like a calming thing, and limonene's not bad either, right? Limonene would be a decent thing to use as well, but it's knowing which of the ones that are most available that you can use beneficially,
Yeah.
and avoid using it for the weirdness. Dude, I promise you, in this journey of me getting back to the place of having a tolerance, there have been many of times where I'm like, I don't know that I need this the same way that I used to.
Same.
I don't, I do still enjoy it, but I could see at some point where I'm like, I'm okay. I'll do it every once in a while if I want to. I'll take one little puff of something just to go back to it, but
I still enjoy it because it allows me to see the world with rose tinted glasses sometimes.
I like that.
Where I'm just like, you know what? I forgive everybody and I love everybody and I just want to be a person who exists in the world and do my thing and not be judgmental or hateful or it's all the things that I think people sometimes struggle with and so for me a lot of times it just gives me a level of like you can like be what you want to see.
Yeah, and it is absolutely all of that.
Yeah.
But I think even for me, and where this is why I lean into the side as much, for the medicinal side of what I used it for the thing where it will benefit me there,
Sure.
it will stop me from reacting so much. I think because I've tuned it in pretty well and I've helped it alongside of all of my thought processes to help me kind of avoid being anxious or excited. I think that I have helped my brain get to a place where I don't get as edgy naturally, even not consuming cannabis.
Right.
So, which is, my individual journey, and it's where I've come with it. But
well, that's part of the practice that both you and I have talked about of using cannabis to train your brain, to experience new things, and to aid in the neuroplasticity of the brain.
That's literally, couldn't have said it better myself because it is.
I usually
a
can't.
tool that, yeah. It is a very effective and useful tool, and I am grateful for it. I will continue to defend it and do my best to represent it as well as I can.
And hopefully that's why you tune into the Elevated News podcast with two dope dudes, because we both love the medicinal properties of the plant. Hopefully you do too, and hopefully you also find great value in the things that we talk about. And hopefully we're also entertaining, and hopefully that's why you're continuing to tune in. And so thank you everybody for tuning in to the Elevated News podcast. And Dave and I love you all very much and appreciate you all. And thank you for listening to us. And smoke weed every day. Peace.
Yo, ding dong, we're done here. Time to go.
Donuts!